So today on DIY Solar Power with Papa, we're kind of expanding the channel a little bit. We're doing a remodel and we're making our own shaker doors that we made from scratch. And got these drying. We're able to make these shaker doors for about 15 bucks a piece. We actually bought a sheet of this 1/8 inch particle board that's very, very smooth on both sides. It was like $15 at Lowe's. And we purchased just stock that's already cut. We got this 1 by 3 by 8 foot, and we actually routed in the channel there to fit in that particle board, and we were able to get these for like 11 bucks a piece. And you just need one for each door, the size we're doing. And then we also bought the stock to do our drawer fronts for the 2 different sizes. So, and we actually bought the crown molding to put up on top when we're done. So we cut these up, we bought the long piece, and we routed them first with a tabletop router, and we were able to router the groove in there. Then we chopped them on this chop saw here, 10-inch chop saw. Then we were able to take, and there's a 2-blade set that we have. This actually creates the other part. So you have you have 2 router bits. One router bit will do this groove, and the other router bit, if I can, oh, here's one. If I can find a piece right here, will actually cut the piece that fits together on that, so that if you, this is my scrap piece, and let's see, so it actually fits together like that, and then you glue it together. So really easy to do with just a router table and a chop saw like that. And then we bought some clamps, some 24-inch clamps. We're clamping this together. We glued it up. We'll have to sand it down when we're done. So it's like that on both sides. There's actually 2 pieces of this particle board in the middle glued together, because that creates a 1/4 inch groove in here. Couldn't find one that had a 1/8, and I actually wanted to do 1/4 inch in there. So I just used 2 of those panels, because I find it's very, very easy to paint. And I'm just using a roller there. And when I'm done, I will use a mouse corner kit sander and also orbital sander using 120, actually I'll go 80 grit to get any imperfections down on the gluing, because they're right here, you can see it's a little bit up. So I'll use some 80 grit on that to kind of smooth that down. And then I'll go to a 120 and 220 for a final sanding before I paint. So right now, I have one side is painted and the other side is not. Now, when we get done, we'll let these dry for a day, and then we'll do a really good sand on those using 220, and then we'll switch over to, where is it? I've got, there it is. This is a 2000 grit wet sandpaper, and I will actually use a wet sandpaper on that once I got both sides painted and be able to, oops, be able to get a factory gloss finish, even though I'm doing a satin on here. So we remodeled and we already did most of our island here. The island was this dated oak this house was built in 2003. So we are getting rid of the doors, the drawers, and the doors. We're keeping the faces and sanding those down. So all those doors I'm doing right now is for this section right here. So these are actually done. So if you can look on there, I don't know if you can see that gloss finish on there, but it's extremely smooth, just like you would find in Lowe's or Home Depot. Got our crown molding up there. Now, I rolled that on and brushed it on, and then I did like 3 rolls with no brush after that. And they actually came out a little bit better than these. This one right here has a little gap right there. But the ones that I did out there, I was able to get it to where it was completely sealed up. I got to go back and touch these up. But we reused our hardware, and we bought a Craig template that we were able to drill a hole in this pine that we bought that we made our cabinets out of. And you can see that they just really came out beautiful. Now, we have 50 doors and drawers throughout this entire kitchen, and we will be able to completely do that and remodel the kitchen for under $1,000, doing it ourselves and painting it ourselves. So the final stage after we sand tomorrow will be, we will put a breather mask on where we're not sucking in any of these fumes, and we use this Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch 2x Ultra Cover paint and primer. This is a Blossom White, and it's a satin. So I can get like 3 panels. These are like $6.86 a can. And I can get about 3 of these doors out of 1 can. So pretty inexpensive. So at Home Depot or Lowe's, you can get these for around $11 for our 1x3x8. These are the 1x4 and the 1x6. They'll go up to like $15. They're all 8-foot pieces. And this crown molding was only like $18 for an 8-foot piece. Might even be cheaper than that. Might have been like 15 bucks. But, so I was able to buy the 1x3x8 and be able to make the entire frame on all these doors and those other doors. I just used 1 8-foot piece. And then I bought two of these 4-foot by 8-foot sheets at Lowe's. They were less than $15 a piece. Cut those up to put in the middle panel, and it comes out to right around $15, $18 a panel when it's completely finished. When I looked, to get a completely finished panel was between $100 and $150. I couldn't find anything cheaper because they're going to make the panel from scratch. I couldn't find anywhere where I could actually pick one up that was already, pre-made. And these are cabinet sizes you can just go to Home Depot or Lowe's and get. So, but when I realized the difference, I could do this for 1/10 of the price. Now, it's going to take me a month or two. It takes a long time to cut these, sand them with 3 different grits, and glue them up, then sand them, paint them, let them dry for a day, and then sand them down again, paint them again, and then sand them one more, let them dry for another day. Wet sand those down to get this extremely smooth finish. And then that can paint, spray paint, when you spray it, you can get it to be wet. When you're spraying the whole panel, it'll be completely wet if you do it in the shade. It's only like 60 degrees outside. So I'm able to do these in the shade, and then once I paint them, I'll move them over here to the sun if I want to, or I'll just let them sit somewhere else back there in the garage. It's just dry in the shade. The longer it takes to dry, the smoother the finish. So if I get a super smooth spray on there and it looks good, I'll throw it in the sun. If it looks like it's got a little bit of imperfections, I'll leave it in the shade and it'll kind of level out. This is a self-leveling paint that I'm using on this. I'm actually using two different paints for the... So I got this at Home Depot. It's a satin cabinet door trim enamel that I use as my base coat. It's interior, exterior. And then I'll do a final coat on the front faces. When I take the doors off and I have the face left, I actually use this Rust-Oleum in a quart. It's the same thing that's in the spray cans, but that'll be my final finish on the door faces, because I don't want to spray that in the kitchen. So I'll actually will roll that on and it'll come out extremely smooth. And I can actually thin that down a little bit using, it's a paint thinner that I got, and what did I do with it? It's I got a quart of it and a gallon of it. I'm trying to figure out what I did with it. What did I, oh, here it is. I got it in this. It's called Flood Fortrol, and you can look on the box to see the instructions. Now, when I'm doing these, painting these panels, I'm using a foam roller, but the first two coats to paint on around that, around this edge right here, I'll use one of these angled cut-in brushes. And this is like an $18 brush. This is probably the 25th time I've used this to paint. I wash them as soon as I'm done with it, and it'll last you a long time. It's a very soft bristle on there, very fine, and none of the bristles ever fall out. This is actually the brand on this is actually Woodster. I prefer to use that when I'm trying to get a fine finish. Now even this will leave brush strokes in it. So what I have to do, if you look on here, you can't see any brush strokes, but the first two coats, when I'm painting along this edge right here, I'll have brush strokes. And then using that roller completely covers it up. And right now, this is a pretty smooth finish. It's got like a little of an orange peel to it, but when it dries tomorrow, it'll get even smoother and it'll be pretty smooth. And we'll get any little imperfections like right there. We'll just pull those out, and we use a tack cloth right here that we'll wipe, and after we get all the imperfections and smooth it down really good with the 220 grit, we'll repaint it again. I'll probably repaint it with the spray tomorrow, let it dry for a day, and then hit it with that wet dry sandpaper, the 2000 grit, and it'll give me a showroom high gloss. Even though it's a satin, it'll be an extremely smooth finish, and it'll look like you got them from the factory. So not hard to do. I'm doing 50 panels, and then we're going to do our bathrooms. And so it's probably going to be around 65, 70 panels total, because we have 2.5 baths, and we're going to have to do all that stuff. Now in the bathrooms, we're probably going to have to use an oil base. This is a water base cleanup. Even that spray, I can use warm water and soap, and that'll clean up off my hands and the stuff. So, but not hard to do. It's going to make a totally different look. So we looked at, if we had someone come in and do it, it'd be about $20,000. And we looked at doing it ourselves. And like I said, if you look right there at the dated cabinets of the oak, and then you look at this look with that crown molding on the top and the way that is, I mean, we made these doors. We made those, and they look just like you were to get them from Lowe's or Home Depot or wherever, whatever cabinet. And then we put these little bumpers on here so that it gets a nice soft close. We even put those on the bottom of the drawers down here, so we get a nice close on there. So, but we already did that. We got to finish a little bit more. We're doing those right now. Already did the island all the way around. We got that, all that wood. This was all from Lowe's, and that was less than $150 to turn that island into this look. And then, like I said, these cabinets over here will look like that over there, along with all those over there and these. So if you have a little bit of talent, you could probably save yourself. We're going to save like $19,000. It's going to cost us less than $1,000 to do this on these. So we're going to get a complete kitchen remodel with the cabinets and the island and everything, by just making them ourselves and painting them ourselves. So I want to give you a little inspiration there. Please like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I'll share my knowledge with you of where we got stuff, how we did it, and get into more detail if you need to. Have a great day. See you next video.